Hi class, this is your statistics professor, Professor Rourke here. I wanted to make a little video talking about some of the important parts of our Canvas course that you do want to be sort of comfortable with before our first class. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 1st. We have our first meeting scheduled for tomorrow on the 2nd at 6:30. And I've already had a few questions from students, which is great. But I wanted to make sure I address those because there's a good chance some of you also have the same questions. So this is our Canvas course homepage. This is where we'll be focusing most of our work out of. You'll be pretty much opening up our Canvas course page first. Most of the time when you're working on this class. Okay, so first things first, I wanted to show you where our syllabus is. It is attached to the message that I sent out last week, but if you added this class late or you just haven't had a chance to look at it yet, you do have the syllabus right here on our homepage. The next part, number 2 here, talks about enrolling in my math lab. So this is often in the beginning of the course, most of the questions I have are centered around how to get registered into my math lab. So these are directions. It's in a separate PDF, but I'm also going to explain these to you to make sure it hopefully makes sense. So there is 2 ways to run my math lab. And if you've taken a class with my math lab before, the way this class works might be different than the way your previous class worked. But essentially, our course is embedded inside the Canvas course. They're connected. So in some ways, it helps because our grades sync, hopefully continuously, but also it causes some issues sometimes. So it says to sign into Canvas and then do one of the following. Essentially, this is what we're going to do. You're going to click Open My Lab and Mastering. So you can also watch this video, but what it's telling you to do is to go to this left-hand side right here. It's left on mine. If you have this viewed in a different way, it could be a drop-down menu for the whole thing. But you click My Lab and Mastering, and then you're going to click Open My Lab and Mastering. So I'm going to do this from the student view so you can get a chance. I can go a little bit further into what it's going to look like for you. So we're going to go to My Lab and Mastering. And then again, we're going to click Open My Lab and Mastering. Now, after you've enrolled, you can also use these links down here, which are kind of helpful sometimes just to go to your all assignments. Can be helpful down the road. But the first time you enter in, this is what it's going to look like, this user and user agreement. You can click through and click Accept. So this is where I also have some questions. Some of you may have had a My Math Lab course before, and especially if you've taken 035, that purchase should cover the textbook for 135 as well. Or if you've previously signed up for statistics and maybe withdrew for whatever reason, you might want to try logging in with your username. It's typically your username is your email, and you can always click like forgot your username or password if you have taken 035 or maybe 135 at some previous time. If you have not done that, or it's been a really long time, or maybe you used My Math Lab for a different course, you can just go ahead and click and create a new account. Your email, you want to use whatever email it is that you check regularly. So I'll for instance, use my personal email here. Oh, it says you already have an account. Okay, I'm trying to make something up for you guys. So it'll tell you if you already have that email and it already exists. You're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do that. And you'll enter your password and all these things. I'm going to see if I can try to use a different email just to kind of get you past this part here. Use my husband's email. He doesn't have an account. Okay, I'm just gonna make something up here. Again, I'm just trying to get past this part so you can see. Okay, that all looks good. Father's middle name, blur. Okay, here we go. All right. Oh, sorry, those do not apply to me. All right, so here we go. This is where I wanted to get you to. My husband probably got an email. He's probably, what? Okay, but you have some choices here. So first of all, if you already have an access code, which you might If you went to the bookstore and purchased the access code already through them, you could go straight and use an access code because from the bookstore, you are able to purchase the access code. The textbook is purely online. There is technically a paper copy of the textbook because we have taken bits and pieces from different places. It's like essentially like in a 3-ring notebook, like it's not bound. So the e-text is definitely the best way. I know I love physical textbooks as well, but this course particularly, the e-text is definitely your best route. And then there's these other options over here, which are usually the most direct way. Sometimes people have financial aid and need to purchase your textbooks through the bookstore. And if that's the case, that's totally good. You'll do that. You'll contact the bookstore and get the access code that way. These are the other direct options. So it says student access for 18 weeks versus student access essentially forever. Okay, so let's talk about these two options. As you can see, the $85 is the cheapest option, $84.99. That's for 18 weeks, which is plenty of time for our class. The one caveat to that is this more expensive option, the 120, is access like I'm pretty sure forever. So if there's any part of your brain that thinks that maybe you're going to start this class, but there's a chance that something could come up or that you won't be able to finish for whatever reason, I would highly recommend you going for the 120 amount because that one does not have an end date. 18 weeks in theory, if you started this class and you decided that you were going to wait and take it in the fall, 18 weeks would not cover that. So you would have to pay $85 and then you'd have to pay $85 again in the fall, which is not ideal. Okay, so if there's any part of your brain that is like, I do have a lot coming up. I have work going on. This is summer. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I would go with the more expensive 120 option. So again, if that's confusing, I'll definitely let me know. But have no fear. You have a lot of time to think about it because I want everyone to use this get temporary access without payment for 14 days option. Okay, it says use an access code, credit card, or PayPal before June 15th to stay in the course. So pretty much what's going to happen is when 14 days passes, you'll get an email saying your access is about to expire. And then at that point, you can either enter your credit card and go for either the permanent $120 access or the 18-week $85 access. Or if you've gone to the bookstore during that time, you will put in the access code that you got from the bookstore. Okay, so I will have everyone click to get temporary access and you want to click yes. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information, but I feel like I often have a lot of questions about this. Oh, my husband's enrolled now, or I'm enrolled, I guess, as a student. And this is what it's going to look like when you get to my math lab. We will spend some time making sure that we understand how to do all of this. You can click start your interactive assignments, and then they go down in order from there. Okay, chapter 1, you'll see like 1.1 and 1.2. There's the interactive assignment and the homework. Okay, so hopefully that was a little bit of enough for everyone to sort of feel comfortable about how we can get into my math lab. For those of you who are ready to go and want to get started, we will also spend some time during class tomorrow making sure that everyone is good to go, okay, if anything is confusing for you. Moving along, they have a course overview to learn about Math 135. Again, continuing on with a lot of the reading, essential course resources, talking about, again, and how to enroll my math lab, this virtual math tutoring, which I'm going to talk some more about, Pearson support, student resources to the college, and all sorts of things in there. All right, I'm going to go back to the home page. I keep clicking modules because that's usually where I go. After you've kind of gotten used to how things work, you probably will just go straight to the modules. Then that's where we go here. All right, right beneath that is the helpful links. This is has just a link for our class information and the Zoom meeting link, so you can click that. If you want to click on it a few minutes before 6:30, I'll usually start right at 6:30, and I am hoping to, the 6:30 to 8:20, I'm hoping that most days, depending on how much we have to get covered for that day, we end a little early so I can give you guys about 15 minutes of time to ask individual questions. Sometimes I'm also going to try something new this summer where I have a certain time for each of you to check in with me for a little one-on-one time, also in that like last 15, 20 minutes or so of class, just to make sure that everyone is on the same page and we go through and see if you're like missing anything, have any kinks like that. Okay, so I think that is the most important stuff here. Lastly, just to kind of even go a bit further, if you click the modules, it has the getting started page. So you do want, it'll take you back to this course overview. If you click next, it says about your instructor, that's me. If you click next again, it has an overview of Canvas. If you're new to Canvas, enrolling in my math lab, which you very well might have already done. And then this is one of the first assignments we have in this class. It's enrolling in the virtual math tutoring services. So if you have taken a class at the college before you, there's a math class, there's a good chance you already enrolled maybe in the virtual math tutoring center. They technically are new classes that will show up on Canvas. Because this is 135, statistics has another option for tutoring as well in the math tutoring lab, which is in the careers building. Each of these are have in-person and also online services. Okay, and it's kind of confusing because this is like the math first tutoring lab versus the math tutoring center. They're both good, they're both great, they both have math professors there waiting to help you. So those are the two tutoring services that you are going to want to enroll. And again, we will talk more about this if this is confusing at all. The last thing I wanted to point out to you while we are talking today is this Ask a Question discussion forum. So anything that you're confused about, if you have a question that maybe I need to clarify something, or maybe you might have missed something, whatever it is, if you could put that question on here, I can respond here. And then that way also, before you want to ask a question, check to see if this question's already been asked. Okay, so for instance, the most common questions I get in the beginning are, how do I sign up for my math lab? Or can I get the course ID for my math lab? And I pretty much answered that the way I talked about here, where it says my math lab course is embedded in our Canvas course. So you do not need a course ID. So to sign up, you open up Canvas and then you select mylab and mastering, and then you click open mylab and mastering and go through those steps that we just went through there. Also, don't forget to sign up for the free 2-week trial. Another question that I get often in the beginning is, can I get another chance at my homework? I was just checking through and now I see a low grade. So all homework assignments and interactive assignments can always be reaccessed. So in theory, you can always click back an assignment and say similar question and complete it and get 100% on every single assignment if you want to. If you have the time and energy to do so, you could have 100% on your homework easily. We will also talk more in detail about some of the other parts of your grade, but for instance, quizzes, you always have 3 attempts. After the second attempt, you do have to complete a quiz review. So all of these things I'm going to go into detail when we meet on for our first class, but I just wanted to kind of give you a quick overview of the most common questions about how to get into my math lab, and also some general questions about the homework. We will talk about some of these other parts tomorrow in class, and you'll have a little bit of time to work on them as well. But if you want to get started on these, you're more than welcome to. The last little piece, sorry, I said that was it, but I wanted to show you one more thing that I am heavily reliant on in our class is the Canvas course calendar feature. So I don't think there's really a great way to see this from your phone app if you have a Canvas course app, but the website, if you log on to Canvas from your computer, the calendar is a great feature and it helps you to keep track of all the assignments are due. I know this looks crazy. This looks like a lot, but once we get into the swing of things, hopefully you'll understand that how it works, and it is not as crazy as it might seem right now. So like for instance, tomorrow, we're gonna have this getting to know your classmates assignment. You can always click directly from the calendar, or you can access it from modules. And again, we'll have a chance to talk about that tomorrow. If you want to get started on it beforehand, go for it. There's also this module 0, what is your why, and also in signing up for all the virtual math tutoring. Those are what's going to be due tomorrow, and we're going to make sure that you have that you're all situated. You'll have plenty of time to make sure you ask any questions. But if you think of any questions in the meantime and you're able to go to that discussion board post to ask a question, please feel free to do that. I just got started with questions that I have gotten already from students, but please feel free to go ahead and hop on those. All right, thank you so much. This went on a little longer than I was anticipating, but that is often the case. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, or if it's something more general that you think would be helpful for more students, go ahead and put that on the Ask a Question discussion forum, please. Okay, thank you so much. I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks.